Portfolio risk findings is a powerful feature that lets you view your entire third-party portfolio against your preferred framework to understand which vendors are the riskiest and share unmet controls, so you can make proactive decisions. Courtney, could you give us a tour of what our users see when they drop into portfolio risk findings?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as you land, you'll see all of your third parties mapped to the Cybersecurity framework, which is the same framework your third parties use when answering the questionnaire that you requested through the Cybersecurity portal. Now, whether or not any of these third parties in your portfolio have actually completed and delivered an assessment, you will see them in this list based on their risk level within the framework that you've selected. So what you're seeing here are your 50 riskiest third parties within the Cybersecurity framework, but the beauty of this tool is that you can look at that list against any framework that we have provided in the drop-down menu. Below the list of your riskiest third parties, you'll also see which control areas have the largest gaps across your third parties. So here you see that you have 30 out of 50 of those third parties have a gap with control 1141. This view helps you understand where you might have the most significant impact in making changes across your ecosystem and your third-party landscape and help you allocate your resources accordingly. One thing that this allows us to do is very quickly visualize and compare your vendors in one-stop shop view. That's the beauty of our standardized data set, and again, the ability to supplement any non-delivered assessments with our predictive data, so you're really comparing apples to apples and having a full comprehensive view across your entire portfolio. So if we wanted to take a look at the Cybersecurity framework or NIST and see how your third parties stack up within that framework, and I mentioned supplementing your view with the predictive data so that you have no blind spots in your portfolio. And the way that you can do that here is if you see the green tag next to Vault Tech or Lawrence Collection Company, that is indicating that that score is based on a predictive data, whereas 04, which does not have that green tag, is utilizing their delivered assessment. This data truly is comparable. It is a standardized data set. Our predictive data is shaped exactly like our self-attested data. However, some of the attested data can get old. We know our users typically like an assessment to be 12 months or less, and the reliability of that data obviously degrades as the age of that questionnaire gets older. Our predictive data gets refreshed on a regular basis. So one of your options is also to go back to your filters and set everybody in your third party to show predictive data. So whether or not they have actually delivered a self-attested assessment, you can ask that everybody get shown their predictive data, and this will kind of equalize the data set that we're displaying within your portfolio. Like I said, the predictive data is all going to get fresh on a regular basis. The self-attested data will be whatever age it is that your third party last participated and delivered that assessment. However, we do recognize that some industries will only allow us to rely on self-attested data, so we have that filter available to you as well, if that is the view that is most appropriate for the analysis that you're trying to do across your portfolio. One thing about the Cybersecurity questionnaire is that it has enabled a standardized data set that allows us to map to a variety of industry standards. I think one of the most prevalent industry standards would be the NIST framework, which provides a nice crosswalk for our users who are either just getting started with Cybersecurity or need to be able to communicate risk findings to other departments and other stakeholders in their organization. So if you select the NIST framework and the portfolio risk findings feature, you will see your list now adapts to what their coverage is and what their risk posture is within the NIST framework. So here you're seeing who your riskiest third parties are based on NIST and what their coverage is against that framework. So another thing that you can do to help hone in on what your most viable prospect is click on that filters menu. And you can either click by industry or by tag. And these tags are customizable. So if you've tagged any of your vendors by payment processor, you can click on that and it'll filter the view down to the vendors that you have tagged with that and show you within that category who your riskiest third parties are. And then you can also see comparatively how they stack rank against each other. You can see in your list of priority third parties that 04 has a framework score of 0, which is considerably more concerning than PayNow Processor, who has a framework score of 22. However, with a framework score of 22, PayNow Processor does still have some unmet controls that are relevant to this framework. You can click into that company record to see exactly where those gaps exist and drill down into more details about each. Again, this list of controls displayed in this view is tying back to the NIST framework, which we selected at the beginning of this analysis. And again, that ability to align Cybersecurity assessment to NIST or any framework allows users to discuss these control gaps with their vendors or stakeholders in a shared language, allowing for more productive conversation.
To learn more or request a demo, visit cybergrx.com.